Shabbat Shalom. Barku et Yahweh. Barku et Yahweh HaMevorak. Baruch atah Yahweh HaMevorak le'elam wayet. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech ha'alam. Asher bekar banu makol hamayim wenatan lanu ha-torah. Baruch atah Yahweh notan ha-torah. That is to say, blessed be Yahweh. Blessed be Yahweh the Blessed One. Blessed be Yahweh the Blessed One for all eternity, who selected us from all the peoples and gave us his Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah. Master, we come to you today thanking you, Master, for all things. Thanking you that once again you have woken us up and that you have kept us this week. We ask that you would forgive us of our sins and cleanse us of unrighteousness, that our prayers be not hindered. That you would lend ear to our supplications this morning, Master, and turn not a deaf ear to our cries, Master, but you would let our words fall before you today. We thank you for all things. We thank you for life, health, and strength, Master, that you woke us up and clothed us in our right minds and allowed us to come out today on your set-apart day. You said because you rested this day that we shall also rest, and we shall have a solemn assembly, and it shall be a sign between you and the children of Israel forever, that we are in a covenant contract with you, Master. We know that it's raining outside, Master. We ask that you will bring those safely to your house today. We thank you for the rain, Master. We thank you for its life-giving and its cleansing properties. We thank you for all that are here today and the families that are assembled. We thank you for keeping our children, that you have brought them home safely to us every night after they have traversed throughout the highways and byways. We thank you for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that you have taken us out of idolatry, and that you have shown us just a part of your truth, Master, and we try to live by it every day and live by your mitzvot. Although we may fall short, we ask that you will forgive us, but you allow us to cleanse ourselves, Master. So we thank you for this day. We know that we are perpetually here because we are exiled in this land, Master. We ask that when the time comes and on that great day that you would take us back to the land, Master, that you said that you will wake us up out of our graves. You say, and then we shall know that you are Yahweh. So we thank you for that you have showed us part of your truth. And we thank you for this day, and this is our prayer.
And be glad, thank you, in it. I just want to share a little something with you before I go into worship about how awesome and great our Yah is. The other day I was coming home from work, a long day at work, just coming home, minding my own business, and somebody ran me in the back of my car. As I sat there, The first thing I said was, God dang it. I don't need this right now. I just want to go home. But as I got out of the car and I checked on the young lady who was just beside herself, she was shaking and she was crying and some blood was coming down her nose, so apparently she had bumped her head. None of the bags were deployed, so the impact wasn't that great, but it damaged my car. I looked at her car and I went, where the damage? I looked at my car and I said, well, there's the damages right there. But I say this, that in that moment, I know that Yah was there. And the reason why I say it is because my attitude. I treated her with kindness. And I stroked her and I just held her a little bit and say, hey, it's okay, we're fine. It's just a car. And she began to shiver and she goes, it's my first accident. I said, well, it's probably my third. I said, but what we need to do is we're going to exchange some information, ID, insurance, all that good stuff, and then you're going to go home. I said, but what I want you to do is, I want to call an ambulance because you're bleeding. And I gave her some tissue and she goes, no, I'm fine. I said, just do me a favor, when you get home, if you begin to hurt and get sore, go to the hospital, seek help, do something. And as I got in my car to drive home, I said, wow. Because I've seen people get out their car, because I know we all got TikTok. We all stream, we see stuff, and people posting, people get out the car, they got guns in their hand, they got bats, and they screaming and hollering and going berserk. But in that moment, Yah, the Spirit of Yah came over me. And I began to just console her. And then she called later to get some information. And I talked to her again. I said, hey, are you okay? She goes, thank you so much. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. I said, be sure, if you hurt, go to the hospital. Because these accidents have an impact that for hours later or days later, you won't feel the symptoms, they come later. But I wanted to share that with you because we talk about how much we love Yah and how we go about, be sitting at Yah's table and all these things. But sometimes the only Yah they ever will see is you. It's your attitude. It's how you talk to people. It's how you're around people, how you conduct yourself around people, even in circumstances that are not good. So we can all smile when things are going well, but how do you act when things are negative? How do you act when someone gets in your face and begins to assault you with words? How do you conduct yourself? How does Yah come out of you? Because the thing about it is, they may never know your Yah, but they know you. They know you. So remember, sometimes you got to catch yourself. I do at work all the time. You have to catch yourself in conversation. Because when you go about talking about how great Yah is, they looking at you. Is this how Christians go about talking about who's mighty and who's strong and I'm victorious and can I conquer all this stuff? I look at them and say, well, how you living? So the same thing goes for us. We are Yah's people. How you living? So sometimes you have to check yourself. As the song says, before you wreck yourself. All right. Rukata, Elohim, he's my redeemer. Barukata, Elohim, he's my Savior. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my deliverer. He's able, he's willing, he can. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my redeemer. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my Savior. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my deliverer. He's able, he's willing, he can. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my redeemer, yeah. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my Savior. Baruch atah Elohim, he's my deliverer. He's able, he's willing, he can. He can heal my diseases. He can mend my broken heart. He will carry me across my Jordan. Hey, he's able, he's willing, he can. He can heal my diseases. He can mend my broken heart. He will carry me across my Jordan. Hey, he's able, he's willing, he can. Oh, the love of Yahweh. Oh, the love of Yahweh. Oh, the love of Yahweh. That washes white. That washes white, that washes white as snow. Oh, the love of Yahweh. Oh, the love of Yahweh. She's white as snow. That was, she's white, that was She's white than what? She's white as snow. Hey, hey. What is in your name? What am I to call you? You hold heaven and earth in your hands. You are whom I adore. Now I bow before you, lifting holy hands, giving honor and glory to your name. You deserve so much more, 'cause you are Elohim, you are my Yahweh, you are the great I am, you are, you are, you are, you are. What is in your name? What am I to call you? You hold heaven and earth in your hands. You are whom I adore. Now I bow before you, lifting holy hands, giving honor and glory to your names. You deserve so much more, because you are Elohim, you are my Yahweh, you are the great I am, you are, you are, you are, you are Elohim, you are my Yahweh, you are the great I am, you are, you are, you are, you are, hey, you are, you are, you are, you are, you are, you are. I give you total praise, giving all of myself to you. I come clean, I come bold to your throne. Then I call out your name. Here we go. 'Cause you are, hey, Elohim, you are my Yahweh, you are the great I am, you are, you are, you are, you are, hey, Elohim, you are my Yahweh, you are the great I am, you are, 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 you are. What is in your name? What am I to call you? You hold heaven and earth in your hands. You are whom I adore. Hey, I bow before you. Lifting holy hands, giving honor and glory to your name. You deserve so much more, 'cause you are Elohim. You are my Yahweh. You are the great I am. You are. You are, you are, you are. You are, you are, you are. You are, you are, you are.
Shabbat shalom to everybody on this wonderful, wonderful day that the Father has given to all of us. As always, it's good to see you. Glad that you all made it out today. And when we think about the graciousness and we think about the mercy that the Most High has granted to each one of us, that we're able to start our day in thanksgiving and adoration to the sole Creator. And you and I wake up every day knowing that He is the sole Creator. And that He directs our course of action every day. And He protects us from things that we don't even know we're being protected from. And it's good to know that He still opens doors and makes things possible for those who love Him and whose ways of life that we live according to how He asks of us to live. I think that one of the gracious things that the Most High has provided for us in His Word is to know that when we live our lives according to His way, we can pray. Come on with me now. We can talk to Him and know that He's listening. Because He said He would. Know that He's listening and know that if our ways please Him, He will give us the desires of our heart. Isn't that awesome? That's an awesome feeling. You know, everybody don't have that feeling. They think they do, but they don't have that feeling. Because there's a difference. There's a difference in believing, having faith, and having, I know. And when you can wake up every morning and know, come on, and know, come on, no, I know. I'm not hoping, I know. Come on, Kiki. I know that He's directing my path. I know that he's ordering my steps. And I know that. Now this is the great one right here. Beyond a reasonable doubt, I know that they're absolutely, positively, unequivocally, there is no weapon formed against me that can prosper. None. Well, I think our teacher's ready. He's all suited and booted, as he always is. Our ambassador, teacher for the day, Shawn Appleton.
I'm from the Midwest, and what they say is, we back one more again. One more again. It is to the Most High, the Beneficent, the set apart, the holy, the one that is the author, what they used to say in the old church, and finisher of our faith, who has created all things, who allowed us, again, one more again, to be here on this Shabbat, to be able to observe the mitzvot, to be able to reverence and get an understanding about the Most High's word and teaching. So I'm thankful to the Most High who has allowed me to be here with you one more time. To the leadership of this household, I acknowledge the Honorable Kevin R. Holman. Shabbat Shalom to you, sir. To the Honorable Robert B. Holman, Jr., Shabbat Shalom to you, sir. To Brother B, Ambassador B. You know why we have to put these ambassadors in front of the names now. You know why that is. Because, and when you come on this stage, you represent the chair. You represent the chair. We don't honor the person that's in the chair, we honor the chair. Okay? We honor the Most High, and it's our duty to make sure that whoever comes on this stage says the things that are in line with the mitzvot, that are in line with the Most High's teaching, the behavioral traits of the Most High, on the direction of our people for this unification that we need to have. That's what we evaluate. So it's the chair, not the person sitting in it. But we have honorable men that sit in the chair. So, being an ambassador for the chair, Brother B, Shabbat Shalom to you. For those of you that are joining us by way of the stream, Shabbat Shalom to you. All of our pan-Hebrews that are around the world that are watching, and at some future date, our descendants that may be seeing this. Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Know that what we're trying to do here today as a people, in this grassroots, organic way of trying to get back to the Most High, is pave a way for you, that you would understand that your ancestors walked in the ways of the Most High, and it's being filmed. It's being recorded. Okay? So, Shabbat Shalom to all of you that are joining by way of the stream. Now, we have this illustrious group of people that are here today. I'm looking around the room, and I'm looking at all of these razor blades that's around the room. Just too sharp. Too sharp. You represent the Most High. Our ambassador talked about that. When they see you, they should see the opulence of the Most High. They shouldn't see some beggar going around asking for money with a band of 12 of his homies. The Most High, when he steps out, he steps out. What is that? He can even step out on the cloud and ride it. And you know, when you ride, see, now I'm spiritualizing up here. I need to stop. Because you know, y'all buy those luxury cars because y'all want to ride like you're riding on the cloud. You want to ride in comfort. All right? You want to ride on some back of some wagon wheel. All right? That's who we represent. And y'all are looking good today. So I acknowledge all of our studio audience. Are you ready to rumble? Let's go. Oh, come on, come on. Yay, I think so. Are we ready to rumble? Let's go. All right. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. All right. Shabbat shalom. I am elated to be here. This last time I got up here and I spoke to all of you, it was a beautiful thing. We talked about things that were germane to text, and I assure you that we're going to continue to do that, all right? We're going to jump back into our series of 1 Shemuel, all right? We had left off in some areas, and it's been a while since I spoke, so I want to do a little bit of a recap for you before we go back and get into the meat of 23 and 24. Those are the chapters, 23 and 24, in the book of 1 Shemuel. All right? So, I'm going to try my best in the next couple of weeks to try to get through the first book of Shemuel. All right? And then we're going to move forward from there. We'll go right into the book of 2 Shemuel, and we'll see the continued exploits of King David and his nemesis, who is whom at the moment? Shaul. Melech Shaul. All right? Let me do a brief overview of what is in 23 and 24. You know what? I'm not touching that thing. However the Most High has me up here today, that's how long we're going to stay. Is that okay with y'all? Okay, all right. We're going to finish what we start because we have to. We got to think in complete sentences and thoughts. In the book of 1 Shemuel, chapters 23 and 24, today I'm going to attempt to cover, again, they're dealing with almost the same issue. Melech Shaul continues to pursue David. David is on the run. He is persona non grata. He is the Osama bin Laden of his time right now when it comes to Hebrew Israel. And then when we get into chapter number 24, Melech Shaul stops finally his pursuit of David. And we might get into some philosophical issues, personal philosophical issues that I have. I'm looking at this brother here that's behind the camera that may spark a conversation. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right answer, but it should spark a conversation. And I'm going to present some data to you to hopefully to see this particular piece. Let's recap a little bit and go back. We were in, matter of fact, before I do that, let me just mosey on over here. These are the chapter, or at least the chapters and verses that I'll be referring to today as we go through this. Now, I want to go back and I want to do a little bit of recap. We're in 23 and 24, but I want to back all the way up to 21 and 22 for a second. All right. Before I even do that, I'm going to give you the preface of this in 21. When we go back to 21, Yehochanan is having a conversation with, or at least David is on the run. I shouldn't say that. David is on the run in the beginning of chapter number 21. And he goes to this slow down. He goes to this specific Kohanim. And I'm going to start you off there. Do you remember what happened in that whole entire dissertation? When he shows up and he finds this Kohanim, he has a conversation with him. And this Kohanim, his name is Abimelech. No takers? Okay, let's keep going. Abimelech greets him and he says, hey, I know that you're persona non grata. You are enemy of the state right now. I'm a little bewildered as to why you're showing up here. And David explains to him, he says, I can't tell you what I'm doing here because I'm on a mission. And the king has told me not to tell you. But do you have what? My men are famished. Do you have any food? He says, I don't have any food for you, but I have the showbread for you to eat. Now, Hebrews, you know the mitzvot. I'm going to assume, just like the New Testament assumes, that anybody that picks up the New Testament already knows the mitzvot. I'm going to assume that you know the mitzvot on the showbread. And you know that the showbread, one of the key components of the mitzvot on the showbread is when it gets changed out. When does it get changed out? on the Shabbat. So we can pinpoint the day when David showed up to talk to him, because that's the day that it gets changed out. He said, I can give you some of the showbread here, but I don't have any other bread. But then he asks him something very, very key. He says to him, they can't have any of this showbread because of why? Well, he's asking him, were they unclean? He says, any of your men that are unclean, they can't have this bread. And David says something to him. He said, I assure you, sir, all of my men are clean, because I've made it a mandate that when we go out to war, that these men don't touch a woman. Okay? So now, let me put that in its proper place. I love this. I love this. I love this. You know why? Because all you Hebrews in here understood that when I said he could have been unclean by touching a woman, you didn't balk at that. But those folks that don't know that mitzvot, you in your feelings right now. What makes a woman so dirty? Since you don't know the mitzvot and how they play into what I just said, you're going to take it offensively. But we won't, because we know what that's about. If a man has sexual relations with his wife, they are both, they have to wash themselves, and they will be unclean until. Now, see, when we put it into perspective, now we can see, now you can make things to be the way they need to be, not blowing them out of proportion, okay? All right, so he asks him a question. He says, hey, have any of your men touched any of these women? He says, no, I assure you not. Now, we went over a specific story in our ancestry about Melech David. He's the king at the time. And it's between him and another woman. Anybody remember who that woman was? Oh, wait a minute. I'm sitting in the palace in all of my opulence as King David. And I know I'm out of the light. I'm going to get back in here. I'm sitting and I go out for my afternoon stroll. And I just happen to look down and see some naked washing going on. She was outside washing on the top of her roof. And I'd asked all the ladies in here, how many of you in the county of Sacramento are going to go on your roof and bathe naked? I doubt none of you would. So we have to start questioning the motives of what she's doing. Okay? I know us ladies, you like attention, but that's going a little bit overboard. Okay? So she's garnering the attention of the king. And so the king calls her. She comes, and they have coitus. Now he's got a problem. David has a problem. Because you don't know the mitzvot, you don't know why this plays out the way this does. He's got to do something, because now he's in violation of the laws about marriage. He has now taken someone else's wife and slept with her. We went over that last week in Devarim chapter number 22. What is supposed to happen? They die. He's got a death wish on top of his head. He's got to deal with it. Now, this woman Bathsheba is the wife of a man named Uriah. Do you realize that Uriah is not a Hebrew? It says Uriah the Hittite. The Hittite are the descendants of the son of Ham, or the child Ham, or the son Ham, out of Noach. That's where they come from, the Hittite. So he's not necessarily a Hebrew, but he's married to a Hebrew woman. All right? Now, we can probably expound upon that when we get into our podcast about continuing on with our relationships in marriage and how these things kind of work out. But that's a topic not for discussion right now. But just for food for thought. If you ever thought that Uriah was a Hebrew, he's not. He's a Hittite. And it says it emphatically when it opens up and it says that. So he's got to deal with this issue. The reason why I'm going around Robin's Red Barn with all this is because when Uriah is summoned, because he's now got to deal with Uriah, because he really what he wants him to do is sleep with his wife so he can play it off like, oh, you're the one that got her pregnant. All right? So he's scheming now. So Uriah doesn't go for it. What does Uriah tell him? Because he has a meeting with King David. You called me off the front line. I'm not even Hebrew, and you bring me in here to talk to you? What could this possibly be about? And he talks to him. He says, hey, you need to go ahead and fellowship and go home to your wife. He says, no. Why do you think that is? Because part of it we establish here in Shemuel. Because David emphatically states, when my men go out to war, I do not allow them to touch a woman. It is common practice. If you are in the army of David, you do not touch a woman while you're in service. Because he doesn't want to have because anything that, if you're unclean and anything that you touch now becomes unclean. Now, your weapons are unclean, all these things that he's saying, I want my whole entire army to be 100% when we go out. So all I'm saying is I'm establishing precedent here to say, give you some more backstory as to why. Because we never asked the question, why is he answering him this way? You already know, you kind of assuming it already. But now we kind of get the backstory as to why emphatically Uriah says what he says, which is, hey, you've already made the mandate to not to touch a woman. Why would I go home to be with my wife when everybody else is out there? He didn't emphatically state it in that text, but we can go back to here for precedent, okay? So that's what happens there in that particular situation. So I just wanted to bring that up to kind of bring that back to your attention. Now, getting back into 19, I'm going to start flying pretty quickly here. They give him the consecrated bread. They go ahead and eat it. Matter of fact, there's another situation that happens while we're there. You need to make mention of this individual called Doeg. Doeg is there. He is an Edomite. Now, we went over the mitzvot on the Edomite. I'm not going to do that here, but the mitzvot for the Edomite and the Egyptian are the same. We also went over the mitzvot for the Amorite and the Edomite as well. They're all wrapped up in that one little piece, and you can actually go back and find that if you want to. No, I didn't make the note here. But it's a mitzvah, okay? Doeg, the Edomite is there, and he's being detained. Now, again, Hebrews, there's a mitzvot that should jump right out. This is going to be really boring today because I'm just going to be going just rattling off mitzvot left and right. There's another mitzvot that should jump out. He said he's being detained with Abimelech. Abimelech is a Levite. The Levites do not have any inheritance, so that all of their cities are given to them by their brethren. There are 6 cities of refuge. So we have to consider that Abimelech was probably in one of these cities of refuge. Okay? All these details start coming out when you start using the mitzvot. So he's there, he's being detained, and he sees this interaction that's going on between David and Abimelech. And what does he say? He says, hey, well, he's witnessing this interaction, and David says to Abimelech, hey, listen, do you have any weapons? And he says, yes, I have some weapons. What weapon does he have? The giant's weapon. He has Goliath's weapons. He said, it's sitting over there in the corner. He said, really? There's nothing like this. I'm going to go ahead and take this and start moving. Now, what happened shortly after that is, I believe Melech Shaul finds out oh, excuse me. After that, I'm skipping ahead a little bit too fast. He leaves and goes to Gat. Now, Gat is the place where Goliath is from. David is now leaving Abimelech and going to Gat to seek some refuge, to hide from Melech Shaul as he's on the run. And David does something because they said, hey, that's the guy. We remember him. He's the guy that beat Goliath. And so what does David start doing? There's a term that we learned. I'm going to give you extra credit. I'll take my seat right now. If somebody can go ahead and tell me the term that David had. Don't do that because I don't want to sit down. That was a rhetorical question or a joke. What does he call him? A meshuggah. He said, do I need any more meshuggahim? Because David is going to the gates. He's scratching, he's clawing, and he's foaming at the mouth. Like something that y'all do when y'all on church. And okay. He's doing all this stuff. He's foaming at the mouth. He's doing all this, acting like a meshuggah. And the king says, I don't need any meshuggah here. I've got enough already. So David flees. We get right into chapter number 22. David now takes refuge in the cave of Adullam, and all of his brothers come to see him. Now, David is a prominent figure, so he also has a good friend of his that probably knows where he is too. Who is his best friend? Yehohanan, which is, who's Yehohanan's dad? Shaul. Melech Shaul. All right. So, David goes to Mepes in Moab to seek refuge. While he's there for a little bit, and he seeks this refuge because he's saying, okay, I realize that this is probably going to be some dirty warfare that's going to happen, so let me hide away my parents. So he hides them and tucks them away in the land of Moab, or with the Moab people, all right? Now, as we move out of that, David now leaves because the prophet Gad tells him to leave. Word now reaches Melech Shaul's ears, and Melech Shaul is now on the hunt. We drop down into verse 7, which is in chapter number 22, right? As we getting ready to get into chapter number 23 here. And Melech Shaul rallies the troops. And he says to the troops, hey, you tribe of Benjamin, stand behind me. It's time to go get this traitor who has violated Israel. Now, that individual I told you to remember, Doeg, he's in the company of Melech Shaul. And Doeg says, hey, I witnessed this with Abimelech and David. He fed him, and now he has provisions and he has weaponry. The king now, what he does is he's got to get to the bottom of this. So he does what? He summons Abimelech to confront him. He says, how in the world are you going to go ahead and give our enemy rations and provisions? And Abimelech tries to reason with him and say, is there anything that this, matter of fact, do you realize, Melech Shaul, that that's your son-in-law? Everything that you had asked him to do, he's done. He's conquered for Israel. He's done nothing but serve you in the capacity that you have asked him to and in the Most High. So what is wrong here? Melech Shaul doesn't hear any of this. He must die, period. His whole entire family. Now, Melech Shaul puts a contract out for David. Nobody in the service of Melech Shaul honors the contract. They won't even do it. They said, this is folly. This is foolishness. We're going to kill an innocent person, which makes us in violation of a bing, 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 mitzvah. I should actually task somebody to say, count how many times I say mitzvot today. Mitzvot, all right? So they said, we're not going to do it. But this individual named Doeg says, you know what? I'll do it. I'll kill him. So Doeg goes out. He's commissioned to kill Abimelech and his family. He does more than that. He actually kills Abimelech, his family. And starts laying siege to the town, the Levitical town that's there, going over and above what is even asked of him. Melech Shaul is going off the rails at this particular point. So let's pick up in 23 with this soap opera between Melech Shaul and David. Let's read together. Now, one of the things as we're turning there, I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to pop out of this, and I'm going to go to an app. Okay, let's do this. I want to bring to your attention where we actually are, because I think it might be beneficial for us, for some of you, to understand where we actually are in relationship to the land of Eretz Israel, okay? All right. I'm going to leave that up there, and I'll make some references to it, okay? Let's move forward. David was told the Philistines are fighting in Keilah. Where is Keilah? right? Think about it like this. You've never been to the United States, and I asked you to go to Atlanta or I asked you to go to Cleveland. You've never been to the United States before. You don't really have a reference of where things are. You have no idea. Like I said, I just want to do this to make sure you have a frame of reference on where we are. But let me blow this thing up so you can see where we actually are. I want you to get an idea of what your land is. First off, you need to know how big it is. Because that little sliver that's over there is only a part of it. As I'm going, I got to go all the way back, about that far. Hopefully, and I know this is small, so I do apologize, but your land is going to extend from the Valley of Egypt, which is right around in here. It's going to extend all the way down. Cross over, it's going to encompass all of Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, United Arab Emirates. It's going to come up. And matter of fact, up here at the top where your top border is, there's the river Euphrates that outlines the top portion, which extends up into Turkey. So this is the portion of land that is in text when we talk about Abraham was told where the borders of it is. This is the area that we're talking about. North coast of Africa, the Middle East, parts of Turkey. That is your land. Now, we're going to zoom in real quick so you can understand and see exactly where Keilah is. Now, right now, Eretz Israel is just this little piece right there. It's no bigger than that. Okay? So all this fighting and Hamas and Gaza Strip, that's where all this is happening. But your land is way bigger than that. Okay? So, as I zoom in here, this is in the land of Yehuda. Keilah. Right there. Should have just popped up. You see that? That is Keilah. Now, let's continue on. Just so you have a frame of reference on where we are. We're in the land of Yehuda. I'm going to keep that there so I have my other pins there. David was told by the Philistine, are fighting Keilah and plundering the threshing floors. David consulted Yahweh, asking, should I go and attack the Philistine? Yahweh answered David. Can I take a second and stop for a second? I skipped a piece that you need to know about before we go any further. As Abimelech, we go back to the previous chapter, Abimelech is killed and his whole entire family is killed. There's only one person that lives out of his lineage, and that's Abiathar. It's his son. Now, Abiathar is now on the run from Melech Shaul. He goes and he is now with, he's with Melech David, or King David, or soon to be King David. And that's going to happen in 2 Samuel chapter 5, where David actually becomes the king of Israel after the death of Ishbosheth. So goes on, it says, David consulted. And I want to say this because he had the ritual vest on. He brought it down there. Everybody, if you don't know what a ritual vest is, let's just show you. Okay. If you can Google this, you'll find and look up the word ephod. That's the Hebrew word for ritual vest. What it's going to be is it's going to be this piece that's underneath it. You've got the breastplate that's got the stones in it, right? The ephod, or the ritual vest, is a linen piece that actually has cords on it, and at the shoulder pieces, it has stones. On both of the stones, there's 6 names on one stone and 6 names on the other stone. That's what's on the ritual vest. And it's told you how to, matter of fact, that's what it is. Just know that, all right? So he has the ritual vest that's down there. And the reason why I'm bringing that up here is because this is probably in the lineage of the Kohen Hagadol. So David now has the Kohen Hagadol's descendancy. And so now he's asking questions of the Most High. We have to ask the question of ourselves, how is David asking the Most High this? How does he ask him this? You see, we blow over this portion because it says David asked Yahweh. Well, how did he ask him? We're not asking enough questions when we're reading. How did he interface with him? Okay, we have to understand that the Kohen Hagadol was down there, and he asked the question of him, like casting lots. Yet, does this one light up? The Urim and the Thummim. You remember that? Okay, yes, This one? No, the other one. And these are just simple yes or no questions, but they're just annotating them all out. It says, David consulted Yahweh, asking, should I go and attack the Philistine? Yahweh answered David, go and attack the Philistine. Should I attack him or shouldn't I? Boop, 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 boop. Okay, I should go attack them. That lit up. Should I go and attack the Philistine? Yahweh answered David, go and attack the Philistine and save Keilah. David's men said to him, look, we are already afraid here in Yehudah. Why? Why are we afraid in Yehudah? Because Shaul is at our backs. Not only do we have Melech Shaul at our backs, the entire children of Israel. Now you want us to go fight this other group of folk? The Philistine too? Man. Look, we are already afraid here in Yehudah. How much more then if we go to Keilah to fight the armies of the Philistine? David consulted Yahweh again, and Yahweh answered him, set out and go down to Keilah because I will hand the Philistine over to you. That's enough for me. All right, let's lace up them Timberlands and let's go. David and his men went to Keilah, fought the Philistine. They defeated them in a great slaughter and led away their livestock. Thus David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. When Aviatar, now who is that? It says the son of Avimelech. Avimelech was killed in the previous chapter for helping David. That's that piece. If I was in the Christian church, I would title that whole entire chapter number 22, No Good Deed Goes Unpunished. Because that's exactly what happened to this man here. He did a good deed and he killed his whole entire family. Said, fled to David in Keilah. So he came to David in Keilah. He brought the ritual vest with him. Now Shaul, on being informed that David had gone to Keilah, said, El has put him into my hands. He's trapped himself with gates and bars, So Shaul summoned all the people to war. Wait a minute, let me say that again. So Shaul summoned some of the people to, wait a minute, all, mitzvot, bing, 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 bing. And who would that be? Anybody that's 20 years and older. Your military mitzvot should start kicking in right now. Devarim 13 should start kicking in right now. All right? What is the protocol when we go out to war? The Kohanim Hagadol has to go out in front of us and address us. And where is he at right now? He's with David. This is going to be a failed attempt. I assume you know these mitzvot. All right? So, Shaul summoned all the people to war. So go down to Keilah and besiege David and his men. David knew that Shaul was plotting something against him. So he told Aviatar the Kohen, bring the ritual vest here. Then David said, Yahweh, El of Israel, your servant has certainly heard that Shaul intends to come to Keilah and destroy the city just to get me. Will the men of Keilah turn me over to him? Will Shaul come down as your servant has heard? Is this a yes or no question? Technically it is. Will he come down here and come to get me? Yes or no? Yahweh, El of Israel, please tell your servant. Yahweh said he will come down. Or, in other words, shorthand, yes. Yahweh said he will come down. Then David asked, when the men of Keilah hand me and my men over to Shaul. Yahweh said, they will hand you over. So David and his men, now around how many? Against the entire group of Israel. And now they just saw a victory against the Philistine, but now they're going to get up against their brethren. Got up, left Keilah, and went wherever they could, though being very peripatetic. Peripatetic is a very elegant word of saying nomadic. So they're traveling. It was told to Shaul that David had escaped from Keilah, so he called off the expedition. David stayed in the desert strongholds, remaining in the hills of the Ziph desert. Where is the Ziph desert? That is where the Ziph desert is. So he traveled from Keilah, here in the north, to the Ziph desert, all within the land of Yehudah. All right? Now, let's go back over here. The Ziph desert. Shaul kept trying to find him, but El, or Yahweh, did not hand him over to him. David saw that Shaul had mounted another expedition to seek his life. David was then at Horesh in Ziph. There's Horesh in Ziph. We're following the pattern and the trail of David. He's here, he goes to Ziph, and then he goes to Horesh. Okay? So he's moving south. Yehotanan. Now we know who Yehotanan is. Yehotanan is his BFF. All right? Yehotanan, Shaul's son, set out and went to David at Horesh to encourage him in El. How do you do that? How do you encourage someone in the Most High? Come on, this is easy. Let me give you an example. I realize the situation that you're in, David. I'm Yehotanan right now. I realize the situation that you're in. But I want to encourage you because we had an ancestor, and her name was Yehudit. Our ancestor, Yehudit, you know what she did? When she found out that we were in peril, she went into prayer. And then we find in the construct of her prayer how to pray. What she does is she calls upon the things that the Most High has done for her tribe, like in kind to the situation, and says, at the end of this, the Most High still prevailed. That's how you encourage somebody. But you're going to have to know the history and the mitzvot in order to do that properly. You see the situation. You can relate it to something else. You see what happened to our ancestors in the past, what happened, and then they turned around and did X, X, and X, and the Most High prevailed on their behalf, encouraging him to say, listen, the Most High, matter of fact, if I was there, you know what I would have told him? I would have told him this. I said, listen, I know you know about our ancestor Abraham, all right? I know you know about him, David. You know about this situation that he had a son late in his years. And the Most High had made this covenant with him. And he says, you know, a nation is going to be born through you. All right? So, has that not happened? A nation was born through him. He went up on that hill to kill him. We didn't know that anything was going to happen because of that, because it was just being tested at that particular time. I would have encouraged him about different things that have been happening in our past. That's how I would have done it. But I wasn't there. That's up for speculation, and it's open for conjecture and comment. But that's how I would do it. Encouraged him in El. Think about all the things that our El has done for you and has done for our people. He said to him, don't be afraid, because my father's forces will not find you. You will be king over Israel, and I will be second to you. Now, we got a little bit of a problem here with this. Because that would mean what? Yehotanan has to turn over the throne to David. Okay? And right now, that's one of Shaul's major issues that he has with his son Yehotanan. He said, I'm doing this for you. You don't have to help the enemy, you clown. All you have to do is just kill him. And when the inheritance comes, this will be your kingdom. He's looking at this from a standpoint to say, okay, we got to deal with this issue that even when Melech Shaul dies, who's the next king? Yehotanan. All right? So Yehotanan somehow is going to have to go. This lineage of Shaul is somehow going to have to go. And they will eventually, as we lead up to chapter number 5 in 2 Shemuel. They're all going to take a hiatus. As a matter of fact, Melech Shaul, I'll just give this away. My wife hates this when I do this because I can't hold water. In chapter number 30 or 31 in 1 Shemuel, we're not going to see any more of Melech Shaul anymore. We're not going to see him. He's going to be done. And Yehochanan's not going to be around either shortly. All right, let's keep going. Let's start at 18. Then the two of them made a covenant in the presence of Yahweh, after which David stayed at Horesh and Yochanan returned home. The people of Ziph, should have said the people of the village of Snitch, came to Shaul in Givah and said, David is hiding himself with us in the strongholds at Horesh and Halakah hills. All right, let's show you where that is. That's over here. So we followed this. If I was to draw this, we're going here, and then we jetted back over. So now he's cutting back and going back east. David is hiding himself with us in the strongholds at Horesh at Hakaliah hills, south of Yeshimon. So now, the king, since you wanted so much to come down. Our part will be to turn him over to you. Shaul said, may Yahweh bless you for showing me compassion. Please go and make still, more certainly, exact where he is and who has seen him there, because I have been told that he is very tricky. So, look closely. Find out where all his hiding places are and come back. When you're sure, then I will go with you, and if he is there in the territory, I will search till I find him among all the thousands of Yehudah. They set out and went to Ziph before Shaul, and David and his men had gone to the Maon desert. That's there. So, we started here, up in Keilah. We went down, well, that just says Israel right there, but we went down to Ziph. From Ziph, we went to Horesh. And then from Horesh, we went all the way over to the hill of Haklah. And then from there, we went all the way down to Maon. That's where we are. Now, in Avarah, south of Yishman, Shaul and his men went searching for him. David was told. So he came down to the rock and stayed in the Maon desert. When Shaul heard that he had pursued David in the Maon desert, Shaul went along one side of the mountain while David and his men went along the other. David was hurrying to get away from Shaul while Shaul and his men were trying to surround David and his men in order to capture him. Why doesn't David just kill this man? Thank you. He doesn't kill him because of a psalm. Actually, David writes later on where he says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. He knows that he is the anointed of the Most High. He's running from him. He could probably kill him. And you're going to see that he has an opportunity to here in a minute. But he says, but then a messenger came to Shaul saying, hurry, come, because the Philistines are invading the country. So Shaul stopped chasing David and went to fight the Philistine. Therefore, they called the place Selah Hamachakot, Rock of Divisions. I got to ask myself the question here, okay? Can I take a sidebar? This is on the fly. Should have done a little bit more research on this, but I'm just posing this question. I'm just flowing right now with this. Aren't the Philistines supposed to be our slaves? Aren't the Philistines supposed to be our slaves? Bring your greatest warrior out, and I'll fight him. If y'all have this warrior, come out, fight us. Roof, roof, roof. And beat us, we'll be your I'm just thinking, why aren't these people been tamed yet? At any rate, open for discussion. Another discussion topic. 24, let's get into it. Man, I need to do some research on that one. There's a nugget that's there. 24. From there, David went up and lived in the strongholds of the En Gedi. Now, the En Gedi is all the way over here. That's where he is now. And that's where kind of the remainder of where we're going to, he might take another hiatus after that. Let's get into 24. To live in the strongholds of En Gedi, when Shaul had returned from pursuing the Philistine, because he's now created a security breach, because the entire army, who does that? Does the United States do that? How many of y'all was in the military? Well, okay, I got one here. So that is why when we go off to war, we have what military force stays behind to guard the borders, while the majority of them are gone. National Guard, reserves, those individuals are supposed to be called upon. Melech Shaul is a bad statistician when it comes to military prowess. You took the whole entire army and to go chase one person, and then you left the whole entire Israel vulnerable to the Philistine, who, by the way, again, which we just mentioned, says actually should be our slaves, but they're not for some odd reason. But anyway, Shaul took 3,000 men chosen from all of Israel and went searching for David. So he sends people back, and then he says, I'm going to take 3,000 guys. We're going to keep searching for this dude. Searching for David and his men in the cliffs where the mountain goats are. So don't tell me, you Hebrews, y'all don't like rock climbing, because apparently it's in our DNA to do some of that too. All right? Near some sheep pens, along the way was a cave. And Shaul went inside to relieve himself. It happened that David and his men, I couldn't imagine how it smelled in there, but okay. It happened that David and his men were sitting in the recesses at the back of the cave. Shaul, what did you eat? Man, I'm not getting anything out of y'all. Let me keep me moving. And having that David and his men were sitting in the recess at the back of the cave, and David's men said to him, look, the day has come that Yahweh told you about, when he said to you, I will turn your enemy over to you, and you will do to him whatever seems good to you. As a good king, we take, for things like this, we take direction from whom? The Yahweh. We don't from El. We don't take it from a council of folk. All right? We consult. There is a protocol. All right? And when we get out of protocol, don't act surprised when the foundation falls apart. Say, I will turn your enemy over to you, and you will do to him whatever seems good to you. Then David stole over, observed, and cut off the corner of Shaul's cloak. But after doing this, so Shaul was in there for a while, but after doing this, David felt remorse over cutting Shaul's garment. He didn't go to kill him. He just went to cut his coattail. That's all he did. He said to the men, Yahweh forbid that I should do such a thing. It's in the sense of I raised my hand. He could have stole a box of pencils for all he cared. It's the fact that I'm doing something in spite of the king. I raised my hand against the anointed of the Most High. that gives a new dimension and depth. You don't even have to do nothing to me. Just start thinking about it. Devising something in your house, in your plan, to come against Yahweh's anointed. And it won't work. Period. So, but after doing this, David felt remorse over cutting Shaul's garment. He said to the men, Yahweh forbid that I should do such a thing to my Lord. Yahweh's anointed as raise my hand against him. After all, he is Yahweh's anointed. By saying this, David stopped his men and would not let them do anything to Shaul. Shaul got up, left the cave, and went on his way. David, too, got up and went outside the cave, where he called after Shaul, my lord, the king. When Shaul looked at him, David bowed his face to the ground and prostrated himself. This is a character of a person. You do, I got to go there, and I'm going to go there. This is character. This is character. I have done nothing to everybody sitting here in this room has this same testimony. You've never been in a situation where somebody is coming after you for no reason. Character defamating. Saying things about you, trying to persecute you some kind of way. Oh, I guess I'm up here by myself. Nobody's had that experience before. Okay. And you want to retaliate, don't you? You want to defend yourself. This man had a whole entire army coming after him, and what does he do? And he says, you know what? I cut this man's cloak, and I felt bad about doing that. I went out, and I greeted him, and I prostrated myself. How many of y'all going to do that? For the person that's been persecuting you, you going to bow at their feet? But I'm going to tell you, right here is another mitzvot, right here. It's buried in there. I'm going to pull him out. And the way I'm going to pull him out is I got to go quote Yeshua. Yeshua is asked. He says, they say, hey, teacher, rabbi, let me ask you a question. What is the greatest mitzvah? He says, 1, to love the Most High. 2, to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Which if he is Elohim incarnate, he wouldn't have butchered that because he only gave you half of the mitzvot. The front part of the mitzvot is this. When someone does something wrong to you and you want to seek revenge, don't. Because Yahweh will enact vengeance for you. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's the mitzvot in its entirety. David is doing the mitzvot. He's saying, hey, listen, you're coming after me, but vengeance is not mine. It's the Most High's. So I am not going to put myself in a position to break the mitzvot in regards to you. Okay? Pulling these mitzvots out. David bowed his face to the ground and prostrated himself. David said to Shaul, why do you listen to the people who say David is out to harm you? Here today, you have seen with your own eyes that Yahweh put you in my power. And there in the cave, some of the men said, I should kill you. But I spared you. I said, I won't raise my hand against my Lord because he is Yahweh's anointed. Moreover, he is just talking mitzvos to him. He's just telling him mitzvos, and it's penetrating Shaul right now. Moreover, my father, look. He's humbling himself. What did I tell you last week what the formula was for favor? I said, favor has a 2-part formula. What is it? That you have a poor and humble spirit, and that you fear the word and obey the word of the Most High. That's favor. That's how you garner it. So what he's doing, he's trying to garner some favor here, but at the same time, he's continuing to humble himself, being poor in spirit. It says, I spared you, but I said, I won't raise my hand against my Lord because he is Yahweh's anointed. Moreover, my father, look, here in my hand, you see the corner of your cloak. By the fact that I only cut off a piece of your cloak and didn't kill you, you can see and understand that I have no plan to do harm or rebel, and that I haven't sinned against you. Even though you are seeking every chance to take my life, may Yahweh judge between me and you. Why are we absent? One from another. No. May Yahweh judge between me and you, or you and me. May Yahweh avenge me. I just quoted you the mitzvah earlier. And now he's instantiating it, telling it to Melech Shaul. Okay? Hopefully I set that up right. May Yahweh judge between, okay, I said that. But I will not lay a hand on you. As the old saying has it, out of the wicked comes wickedness, but I will not lay a hand on you. The king of Israel has come on a campaign. After whom? Whom are you chasing? A dead dog? A single flea? Yahweh be the judge. Let him decide between you and me. May he take my side and rescue me from your power. After David had finished speaking to Shaul. Now, this is the part where I said I need to go. I want to slow down, and I want to actually give you something philosophical. All right? After David had finished speaking to Shaul, Shaul said, is that your voice, my son David? What happened to this tyrant that was getting ready to kill him? Then Shaul cried out and wept. And he said to David, you are more righteous than I, because you have treated me well, while I have been treating you badly. You have made it clear to me today that you have done me good. For when Yahweh put my fate in your hands, you didn't kill me. A man finds his enemy and lets him go unharmed. May Yahweh reward you well for what you did to me today. Now I'm certain that you will indeed become the king, and the kingship of Israel will be established in your hands. So swear to me by Yahweh that you will not kill my descendants. Who is he talking about? Don't kill Yehohanan. I know you won't do it, but just swear to me that you won't do it. After I die, and blot out my name from my father's family. David swore to Shaul, and Shaul went home. But David and his men went back up to the stronghold. Now, let's unpack this, okay? Because we see a total change of heart on Melech Shaul. Now, I want to break this into a two-part argument. You can either be the Republicans or the Democrats on this one, okay? But this, I want to preface this by saying, everyone under the sound of my voice, here and online, this is Shawn talking. I want to make that abundantly clear. This is Shawn talking. How do I make sense of this? He's after him. He's got this fervor. Now all of a sudden, he wants to kill him. He doesn't want to kill him. And he's calling him his son. Come, my son. You're more righteous than I am. Why the change of heart? Thought number one I had. Don't you ever underestimate a Hebrew. What makes you think that he's being sincere? What makes you think that Melech Shaul right now is actually owning what he's saying? I see that you got 600 men around me. I just took a big old dump. I'm exposed. There's no one around me. And my aim is to kill you. So let me draw you in. Oh, it's okay, son. No problem. And I have a knife right behind my back. It's okay. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Because, everybody know what that means. From the old school, if you're making a vow or something and you cross your fingers like that, that means that I'm nullifying it at the same time. Yeah, it's no problem. It's no problem. It's no problem. Just come on. What makes you think that Melech Shaul is being honest? That's one train of thought, okay? Which I could probably acquiesce to just on its simplicity, on its Occam's razor. Everybody know what I mean by Occam's razor? Occam's razor is a way of thinking. It's a thought process that says that the simplest answer is the right one. It's called Occam's razor. So that could be one. Let's talk about issue number 2. Let's say he is being sincere. Now we have to deal with how do we understand why he's talking the way he's talking. Why is he this? Is Melech Shaul that bipolar? Is he? He could be. But I want to offer something to you, and this is the philosophical part, and this is probably where you're going to have to be like, Ambassador, okay, I heard you, but that's a little far-fetched. I got to go all the way back to the garden now. I'd like to set this one up. And what happens in the garden at the very beginning, because I got to talk about what this is. Okay? In the garden, the Most High comes down and makes a body. So we all understand in here as Hebrews that all of you that are sitting here under the sound of my voice right now, that there's 2 entities in that space right now. There's the body that the Most High made. Toenails, feet, skin, organs, brain, heart, lungs. That's the body. Until what got put in it did that body start to function. The pneuma, the spirit of the Most High, that spirit is new. It's fresh. So I'm setting this up, I'm going around Robin's Red Barn. Just stay with me. So my argument is that even in inception, when a man impregnates a woman, all he's doing is giving her a house that she's going to incubate for a little bit. The Most High in that process has to come in and put that spirit in there. And that's for everybody that's walking on the face of the world. Through your experiences, that spirit is going to have things that it experiences, that it learns, that it knows. Your spirit is driving this house. If you tell your spirit, if you're in your spirit, you say, okay, well, who am I or what I am? What am I? You are a biodegradable supercomputer that's being controlled by a spirit given by the Most High. I'm going to say that one more time. What are you? You are a biodegradable supercomputer that is being driven or operated by a spirit given by the Most High. That's what you are. Okay? So when we get into text that says that when the Most High gave Melech Shaul an evil spirit, don't you think the Most High has the ability to move or scoot something out of the way and put something else in its place? So my argument here on the second option would be the Most High allowed really what Melech Shaul was to come back out at the front. Because Melech Shaul only goes after David after the Most High puts an evil spirit in him. So he's there. Melech Shaul is there, but there's this evil spirit that's also driving him there. And then what we're seeing here is the manifestation of Melech Shaul. Not the evil spirit, but Melech Shaul, to say, you're more righteous than I. I understand where you're coming from. Okay? So you can maybe prescribe to either thought, or go one way or another. Just giving you something to think about, again, to extrapolate information out of the text so we have a deeper understanding about what's going on. So we do not have this issue like our sisters and brothers across the street tomorrow when they just read over it. They have no idea what the Most High is talking about. So let's go on. And matter of fact, let's just stop. Because that was the end of that chapter. Which gets us into chapter number 25, which will come back, which we are going to be, matter of fact, we're going to be in mourning in chapter number 25. Because one of our patriarchs is going to die in the first verse of that chapter. Hopefully there was something that was said today. Again, my aim today and moving forward is to go through these books, our history, extrapolate, do the case study, extrapolate the mitzvot out of it so we can see the entire intent and content of what's there. So we have an understanding when we go back and we look at other things, we say, oh, now I understand why. Okay? So, hopefully you were blessed. I will see you next week. And in the words of our ancestor, Yivarekaka Yahweh v'yishmareka, Yair Yahweh panav eleka v'huneka, Yisa Yahweh panav eleka v'yasam laka shalom, which simply means in English, may Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine on you and show you his favor. May Yahweh lift up his face towards all of you and give you shalom or peace. Until next time, shalom.